Santee, Rob McNelis, coming to you live from You Build It Santee, and I am here with my buddy, my partner in crime, Mr. Dustin Trotter, Councilman District 4, and our other friend over here, Mr. Mike Aiken from Carlton Oaks Golf Course, and everything else under the sun.
Santee Chamber, currently Chamber.
Got my hand. I've got wear a few different hats. Here.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you for tuning in. We've got a fun show to talk about here. But let's jump into let's see. Last week, anything crazy go down last week?
No.
It
was probably the most mellow week we've had
in a minute.
It's just the hottest week of the year.
Yeah,
it was concert last week. We got a concert tonight again.
Yeah,
yes,
but every Thursday.
But the concert last night we thought was going to be hot as Hades, and it actually cooled off.
Cooled down real good.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
It was one of the most beautiful nights we've had thus far.
Yeah.
That was gorgeous. So hopefully you guys can come out tonight and join us at the Concerts in the Park for another amazing concert.
Tonight's a 1969 theme, so the band, 1969 music, Wingstock, Woodstock kind of thing. Wings and Things has a $5 meal and a $1 beer, I think, or something.
Oh, my goodness.
$1 drink, or I don't know what exact. Probably get it wrong, but here we go. Wingstock, Woodstock tribute band tonight. So if you guys haven't seen them, they've I think we've had them a couple times before. If not, we've had similar bands to this because that Wingstock is kind of an annual theme.
That was something that was started way back when. It was what was it? Wings and Things.
Yeah,
when Wings and Things opened up. That was so we had Barbecue and Blues for one, and then Wingstop for the other one. And Phil's Barbecue was doing They started doing.
We had the beer garden and the barbecue.
Yeah, and then Barnes Barbecue came out there, and we had a few others over the years. But the Wingstop one, it was Wings and Things, which is the same company as Epic Wings now. But so they're still all going to be there, I think, and getting out wings.
Yeah, $5 meal.
Very reasonable price.
$5 meal. I don't know what the meal includes. I just saw on the advertisement. So
anything $5 is a good deal.
No joke. We were just talking about that. We had lunch today over at how do you pronounce that name? Salitas. Yeah, and we got a burrito. If you haven't had a burrito from Salitas,
I laughed at Rob. You guys, I eat. He don't eat. I got the 2 tacos. He got a burrito.
I got a burrito.
I'm like, really?
No joke, Mike. It is the size of your forearm and bigger, and bigger around. It's insane. But it was $16, and he's like, that's an expensive burrito. But I'm like, dude, that literally is 4 meals for me.
Oh, for him, yeah. But I mean, on average, it's to say you split it, right? 2 people split it on it. It's $8. That's reasonable. We start breaking it down, right?
On this thing, I went to Pollo Loco yesterday. I got just one of their little BRC burritos, the beans, rice, and cheese. They're great, but they're little burritos, little chiquito burritos, and that was $5. Yeah. Like you break this down, this would be way bigger than 5 of those. Yeah. 5 of those, but all right. So, anyways, we digress. See, it's unscripted.
There's always something going on.
But this week, we want to talk a little bit about something that you did at the Santee VFW, or for the Santee VFW that you did. Actually, I guess 2 weeks ago that you did.
No, it was past Tuesday.
Two
2 days ago.
Okay.
2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago, past Tuesday.
Well, actually, that's a good time to talk about the whole reason that event happened.
Yeah.
Because of you guys. So Rob and Dustin for several years now have been holding an event supporting our local veteran post here, veteran hall here for the American Legion and the VFW here in Santee. And it's called Liberty and Libation. It's on every 3rd Tuesday of the month.
Of every month, yeah.
And so I went over there. We did a thing at the golf course where we raised some money to support. Actually, I should preface that. A few weeks back, maybe last month even, they had a terrible incident happen with one of the members of the VFW involved in a suicide. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But I was able to watch how the Donna and the team over there just rallied the troops and got together, and they were just so helpful for the family, and it was touching to watch, and it was amazing to watch because it's a terrible thing happened, but they really rallied and got it handled. So anyhow, long story short, we did an opportunity drawing and raised some money to support the post, and we ended up presenting them with $1,100 for the post on Tuesday this week.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that is really amazing. So what was it? It's Operation 22. Is that what it's called? Because every
suicide.
Every 22 hours, a veteran takes their own life.
Pretty sad.
It is because they're just not getting the right help. They don't have the right resources to talk some of the things out that they've experienced in life, and it's really a horrible thing that we have to deal with when these are the people that are keeping our country free. This is say freedom isn't free. It's not free because ultimately,
land of the free, home of the free, because of the brave.
There are many that give that ultimate check in their lives and giving them their lives, and some of those that don't abroad or elsewhere, they're taking their lives themselves just because they can't. They have a hard time dealing with it. There was a time where, and I've talked about this before, where the VFW posts were really predominant and super busy, and it was in the 70s when the men and women were coming back from Vietnam.
Yep.
And nobody, I'm not going to say nobody because there's still a lot of patriots out, even back then that still defended them and understood these are our fighting men and women taking care of us. But there were a lot of people that just like we're saying, okay, it's Wingstock. Just after the hippie movement came through, and a lot of people that wanted no more war and and all that kind of stuff, and so they were spitting on and calling names at the soldiers when they were returning, and they had a hard time getting jobs. They had a hard time getting jobs because of it. They had a hard time fitting back into society, and the VFW posts were a great place for them to come together and
safe ground where they could kind of
and have some camaraderie and talk with other people that knew their story. They didn't even know their story, but they knew their story because they shared the same story in some way, shape, or form. And that's why these halls became very important for many veterans, and it helped them deal with a lot of things. Unfortunately today, fortunately, our heroes come home and we celebrate them now, as it should have been from day one.
Yep.
We do celebrate them. We show them the respect that they're due for serving their country and defending our rights abroad and at home. So they don't need that space, that safe space, as you said. They don't need that safe space. They can go anywhere and be treated well and probably get free drinks if they show up in uniform somewhere. Probably get someone like me and you, they're gonna buy them a drink. So the VFWs are struggling a little bit, but there are still those that don't have that other voice to talk with, just about the stuff that they don't. It's not commonplace to talk about, and they couldn't talk about it with you or me, but they could talk about it with Mike,
with somebody who served and
has seen some of the things that they've seen. It's not. It's one thing to say you understand, and it's another thing to really have been there and understand.
That's the thing in life, right? You have to go through it, you have to experience it to have that obviously experience, but also to be able to relate to somebody and do it. So to Rob's point, I did not serve in the military. Rob did not serve in the military. But my history in the military goes back, really, since I was born here in San Diego. I was born right here in Santee in East County. I want to talk about Mike a little bit about his time that he was in the military. But my grandfather was in the military, my uncles, a lot of my family members were. And, my pride and patriotism and my support for the military goes back from all those things you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So all of our family members that did, but, the people, we just celebrated this country's 250th birthday, which ironically is the same birthday as the Navy, right? It's 250 years also. Yeah. So Mike was in the Navy, so talk about a little bit about your history in the Navy and your career, I guess, subsequently after,
So it's funny. I grew up in a small town in the Midwest in Missouri, and I remember my dad saying, "Well, what are you going to do with your life?" And I didn't want to go to college, and I had other family members. My great grandfather who I never met was in the Navy in World War II. And
Speak up.
In World War II, my dad's dad was on the USS Guam. It was a big battle cruiser during World War II. So I had some family who's been in the military, and I had some friends in town that had been in the military. And anyhow, long story short, I went and Dad said, "What are you gonna do with your life?" And I still remember this shiny, glossy recruiting book, and I want to get a copy of it. I've been searching eBay all the time trying to find that copy of that thing. And so anyhow, that was
From what year?
I went in 1980. I joined with another friend of mine in high school, and they called it the delayed entry program. We're still in high school, so I was in that for a while, and then we graduated high school in the Midwest right around Memorial Day, and then August 2nd, I went to boot camp in Great Lakes.
And then subsequently, the Navy brought you out here to
Yeah,
San Diego,
so I went
right?
to submarine school. I signed up for submarines in the advanced electronics field, which I didn't. It was a 6-year. You had to sign up for 6 years to join, but I didn't. Quickly in, I didn't realize I didn't like the electronic stuff. I liked the tactical side of it. So that really worked out well for me. I got to the submarine, and I got to learn all about Russian naval stuff. So I got to chase Russian.
So that was in the
submarines
80s, primarily.
In the 80s, into the Cold War.
So that's what I was saying. So that's kind of the Cold War, doing Russia, all that. So you were on a submarine somewhere out in the middle of who knows where, right?
Yeah.
Tell us, but he'd have to kill us.
Right, maybe.
Yeah.
That's probably declassified now.
But in the
YouTube
80s,
now.
Yeah, there you go.
but in the 80s, we didn't really have any wars going
No,
on.
it was the Cold War.
Yeah, with the conflicts, with some little things.
Yeah.
But we didn't really have a war going on.
No.
So you never served in a you
No.
never went to war.
No.
So, right, Mike?
No, never.
So,
Before. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah, when you talk about VFW, the term stands for Veterans of Foreign Wars, right? So there's a difference between American Legion and Mike. Mike, you can educate people with that. What a VFW is on American Legion.
Well, it's funny. There was an old submariner that was involved with the hierarchy here at the Santee post, and apparently one of the medals that submarine guys didn't earn a lot of medals because the things we did, we didn't do.
Yeah,
So-
they didn't happen.
So
They didn't happen officially.
You can tell the difference between a submariner and a surface guy. Where they had a lot more stuff.
Right.
And,
Bunch of stripes and,
Yeah,
and colors.
But I remember the guy going, "Well, your expeditionary medal. That's the least qualifying medal to be qualified." I go, "Hey, but it qualifies, right? I'm in."
But I did it.
Yeah. So that was fun. Yeah, but
So after you got out of the military, what'd you do after the military in your
actually,
career?
I'll tell you something you probably don't know about.
Okay.
So as I was getting ready to get out of the Navy, I had some friends that were on the police department. I really wanted to go to the police department, but it's a long process to get hired. And I got
It used to be.
yeah.
Now they pay you to hire you.
Yeah. But anyway, I actually joined as a backup plan the National Guard as a tank commander.
I didn't know that. You're
Yeah.
right. Didn't know that.
So just a plan B, to stay in the reserve.
Which means something different in today's world.
Yeah. So,
Right.
Yeah. But plan B was and I thought it seemed kind of neat. That was about when up the National Guard where the guy stole the tank from later on.
Yeah.
So that was where I was at, and I had to go up in the desert, and I was a staff. They made me a staff sergeant.
Cruising through LA.
I had my submarine dolphins on my camis, and they go, "You're a tank commander." I'm like, I know nothing about tanks, but it was fun. It was funny. But
real quick side note, just because it is unscripted. You knew the guy that took out the guy that drove the tank.
I knew all those guys.
Yeah.
Paul Paxton and Piner. Yeah, I forget the other guy's name. I was working on that.
Some of these guys, some people don't know what we're talking about.
Probably about 1994.
It's like 90s.
Yeah,
was
it
crazy.
94?
94, 95.
Yeah, okay.
I was on the gang unit then, so it would have been probably 94, 95.
Someone stole a tank
It was
at
crazy.
Los Angeles area.
No, it was
No,
here.
no,
No,
Sure.
I'm sorry, the San Diego.
Claremont.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
Portland,
yeah.
Vista.
they drove it on the 163.
Yeah.
And they took it onto the freeway.
Driving
Take-
over cars.
Just took it for a joyride. And San Diego PD had to eliminate that threat.
In fact, I saw Paul Paxton the other day at the Concerts of the Park.
Oh, no
I was
way.
at the Concerts of the Park. I was on the 4th actually.
Okay.
He had been a tank. He was a tanker in the Marines, and he knew how to get up there and open the door. Even to this day, I would not be able to jump up there and open the. I only did it for a year, so it ruined it. It was the wrong weekend. I got on the police car. I didn't need that. This isn't for me. And it was funny. I always think back to the movie Stripes, where
Oh my God.
no, not Stripes. Rambo, where they're hunting Rambo.
Big difference between
Yeah,
the two
yeah,
movies.
totally
man.
different.
I was going Bill Murray. He's going Sylvester Stallone.
No, remember when they're hunting him in the woods and he's shooting at him and the guy, "Hey, I got him back at the pharmacy."
Oh yes,
on
that was the
Monday."
very first one.
Yeah,
That was the very first
I
one.
didn't
Yeah,
sign up for this.
first flood.
Well, it was funny because the guys on that tank thing that I was involved with, man, I was worried. If we ever went to war, I was like, we're gonna.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you
it is
go.
right there.
Yeah.
Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
That's right on Fairmont Drive.
Yeah.
No, that's right. That's right by Balboa.
Balboa or something.
Yeah.
Wiener
Oh,
Schnitzel,
Wiener
right?
Schnitzel, yeah.
So you spent a career with the police department, and
So, okay,
you
you
retired.
You finally got into the police department.
You retired out of there.
What did you do there? What did you do? What was your specialty in the police department?
And I went to the academy in February of 1990. And I retired 8 years ago this month, actually. So I did a lot of things. I started off in patrol, working Western Division down there by Linda Vista, Old Town, Point Loma area. That was Ocean Beach. That was fun. And then I went to the gang unit. Well, when I was working Western, I got pretty involved working the Southeast Asian gangs up in Linda Vista.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, nobody was really working them, so I kind of created a little niche that I knew all the players.
So it's funny, you call them Southeast Asian gangs. We used to call them Vietnamese.
Well, there's Vietnamese, Laotian, Hmong, Cambodian.
There's a lot of different
You
ones.
knew each one.
Yeah,
And they're all different.
Yeah.
They're a little bit different.
They're
A lot different.
And they're all, still in Linda Vista, we didn't have any Cambodians. Cambodians were mainly in East San Diego, but we had a lot of Vietnamese and Laotian. In fact, I had a partner who was Laotian, and I just found it a couple years ago. They put a contract out on me, him. Nobody was working these guys, and then we pissed them off, and they got really mad, and they were talking about killing us.
Right.
Me, my buddy Camp, and a detective, Carol. Anyhow, long story short, Camp gave me this. It's like a really cool handkerchief that's got all this ancient Laotian writing on it. It's blessed by the religious people, and it's supposed to make me bulletproof. And I carried that in my bulletproof vest for years. And the gangsters knew about it. Yeah. So they said, "Oh, you can't kill Batman with the
Batman."
That was the name they gave me. You have to kill him.
Went from Pac-Man to Batman in colors.
Yeah, Batman in colors. Yeah.
He's
Joe,
Batman.
We got a bunch of movie references today. We got Stripes, Casino, Rambo, Colors.
Well, Linda Vista, the Asian guys didn't give me that name. That was the Mexican name up there. Mexican, Linda Vista 13 gave me that name. It was when a Batman movie came out. It was Michael Keaton or something, and so they just, they all had names.
I think that one was actually called Batman.
I think it was.
Yeah. Keaton one and Michelle Pfeiffer. I think it was the Catwoman.
Oh yes, she was.
They didn't even know my name. They just told me that. But you knew you'd made it when they wrote F Batman on the with graffiti.
Yeah, singled out. Yeah.
I got an old Polaroid of that somewhere. Me standing next to that. That was funny. Anyhow, I lost my train of thought.
So we just talked about
life history. What brought you to San Diego, and then obviously your career.
So,
and subsequently, you're parked here in Santee, right? So what brought you to Santee?
Oh, that's good. So working the gangs, I went to the gang unit.
Hi, Robin.
And
Hey, Robin.
you know what? It was right about the time of that those guys put contract thing out. It was funny because I just moved to Santee at the time, so I had cops living on my parked outside like for days on end, and neighbors.
Oh, so really,
yeah. So
they took it very seriously.
Actually, it was at the time it was my son's first birthday, and we were in Hawaii for his birthday, and we got a call from while we were in Hawaii saying, hey, that they had formally come forward and they'd identified this plot of sorts. So they picked us up at the airport, came home, cleared the house, stayed in our house while the SWAT team was out blowing up this guy's house.
Oh my!
The SWAT team. I saw the newspaper clippings from that from back in the day, but I remember watching the video. SWAT team, I think they went a little overboard on the flashbangs and were blowing a lot of the neighbors' windows.
Oh no!
They take it. They're looking out for one another. They take it seriously. Anyhow, I'm still here. And then shortly after that, I made detective and then kind of spent most of my career in specialized investigative units, which was pretty, all working narcotics, so it's great. So the last 23 years was in narcotics, and the last 17 was at DEA as a task force officer. So that was cool. I got to travel around and teach all over the country. It was pretty cool.
So eight years ago, you retired.
July 13th, and 8 years ago, yeah.
So you're playing golf over at Carlton Oaks and enjoying life.
Before you retired, you were already president of the men's club there.
Yep.
Which means
just organizing all the events and stuff.
the tournaments.
Yeah, tournaments.
Club tournaments.
Yeah, that's been fun. I still do that to this day. That's a lot of fun. We have a big event this Saturday, and club championship coming up in a couple of weeks, so that's cool.
You also do your barbecue events, your twilight barbecue events.
Mhm.
How often do you do those? And tell everybody what that is, because that's something that I've everybody I know that's gone to it said it's so much fun.
Yeah, during the summertime when the days are really long, can't do them when it gets dark at 5 o'clock. But in the peak June when it's getting dark at 8 o'clock, we do some evening events that start at 5 o'clock. People get off work and then they can come play a 9-hole one. We incorporate a meal sometimes with it, or we did one the other day where we played the course backwards, which was kind of neat because I had to get creative with where you tee off from, and to make it flow, not but we did that maybe 3 weeks ago, and people want to do it again. So it's fun. I mean, it's just they're not like super competitive things; they're more social events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're inexpensive.
Oh, very inexpensive. Yeah, it's just I don't remember what we charged the other day. It's not much. I mean, it's 9 holes. I think we charged more on the one that we fed you on the one that came with drinks. This one the other day was just small.
Okay.
Well, Carlton Oaks has always been a amateur championship course. You used to have like minor amateur pro events there or something like that, right?
They're still qualifying.
They still do that today, or no? I didn't think so. I thought it was.
Yeah, we stopped that probably
Right.
about 7 or 8 years ago was the last one, the last big one.
But there used to be amateur pro events there for qualifying, like Rob said. You always have tournaments and these shotgun start events and like that. And
busy with those. Yeah, we've been pretty busy with those. We did the one for the Marine Corps unit that the city sponsored.
Yep.
We did that a couple months ago.
Yep.
Then the big one that I'm starting to work on now is our 8th annual Veteran Appreciation one, which is coming up in November.
yeah, that's what I want to talk a little bit right now. Is that one?
Yeah.
It's been 8 years now. This is the eighth year coming.
Yeah.
So this is with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
So this is your annual Chamber of Commerce's annual Veterans event. It's right around Veterans Day.
Yeah, this year it's on. We moved it to a Friday because actually, Todd Perry from Perry Electric, his dad was a Vietnam era hero, bronze medal winner, and he's the title sponsor. He was title sponsor last year, and he's doing it again this year. But we were doing it on Thursdays, but he asked me to move to a Friday, and so we moved it to Friday, and it sells out every year, months in advance. So don't wait till the last minute if you want to get involved. Get a hold of me pretty soon.
Yeah. You always get a hold of Mike at the Chamber of Commerce, or get a hold of them, one way or another. But it sells out every year. I mean, it's been, and that's capacity is a couple hundred golfers or something.
No, well, we had to rent some more carts the last few years, but I'd like to keep it in that 144 range.
Okay, so
when you go bigger, it makes it a long day. And
it's always a long day, no matter what.
Yeah, it's a long day, no matter what, for sure.
So what does that benefit specifically?
Well, the big thing on that is that we try and a lot of people sponsor veterans. So the big thing is hosting a hero. So a lot of people come in and if they don't want to play golf, they'll sponsor vets. Like the VFW, they do a sign-up sheet. We try to get as many people.
Yeah,
it's totally paid.
I remember I've done that over the years. About a foursome or just pages for a veteran, just to allow these guys who normally wouldn't go play golf, or maybe they do play golf, but they couldn't afford it because the pay in the military is not great. Let's be honest,
They get to play Admiral Baker. That's
exactly. You got your home course on your base. But you don't get to get around because it's just it costs, right? Yeah. But the thing about Santee, and we're going to get into it right now a little bit more, is that this has always been a military town.
Yes.
I mean, the time that I was born to everything I remember, we've always had a great veteran presence here, or active duty military for that matter too.
I think it's like 1 in every 10 people is a veteran or active duty.
It's pretty crazy, and I think it attributes to a couple different factors. Just like you said, Mike, you got brought out here by the Navy, and a lot of people have, right? So a lot of people have gotten brought to San Diego either to the Marine Corps or to the Navy,
right?
And that's just fundamentally how this city, the whole county is built, right? Yeah. But we're so close to Miramar, so I think the proximity of Santee to Miramar, that we have people who it's easy to go over the hill, but also it's the affordability of what Santee used to be, right? Yeah. So it still is in comparison. Yeah. But what it was in 80s, 90s, and 2000s, it was always less expensive to come over the hill, so to say, up the 15 and live in Santee. And this has always been a bedroom community, right? So you got a family, and it's just
When I was
Much
on the police
easier
department,
to-
that's where we all lived. At one point,
Yeah.
I could look out my front door and I could see 4 or 5
Yeah.
guys I work with, and that adds some safety to you.
It does too. I mean, you got law enforcement, firefighters, military. But it's always been a blue collar town too, as much as a bedroom community.
Yeah.
So these are the construction workers, the like I said, the law enforcement, firefighters, the first responders. I mean, we've been very blessed over the years to have all that.
Amen.
So we talk about history and time and stuff. I remember I've been going to the VFW hall. I'm not kidding when I say this, since I was 14 years old. And when I say I was going to the VFW hall as I was 14 years old, the VFW hall used to be located right next to the Santee Library on Carlton Hills.
Oh, yeah.
Our Hungry Howie's Pizza was directly across the parking lot from there. So we used to deliver food into there all day. There was no food service in the VFW hall at that time. So I'd be taking pizzas in there, sandwiches in there, and dropping it off. And they were there until I forget what year they left. And then if you remember, did not. It moved over by roller skate land.
Yes.
So the VFW, the
Yeah.
VFW hall used to be over by roller skate land on Mission Gorge, right next. It wasn't next to the driftwood, but it was on the end of the building.
Right next to a barber shop. Or something.
But it was the end of the building where the roller skate land was, kind of near where the driftwood was. And then when that building when they left, they went over to Cuyamaca, like you were talking about there, right? Cuyamaca until they got to the location that they are today on Magnolia, right?
Yep.
And that location they're at now, they've been there for a little while still, but like to Rob's point, they struggle. They struggle not only with membership, and that's the core of any organization, a service organization, to the Kiwanis, to the Chamber of Commerce, to anybody. Yeah. Everybody needs membership, right? You need membership to keep the doors open. You need patronism to everybody participate. Right. So many years ago, not only that I've been going to the VFW for all these years and stuff, but not participating the way that I did obviously back then, but many years ago, started doing more things with the local VFW at Cuyamaca, and then subsequently when they moved over to Magnolia there. Right. And Rob, you remember? Gosh, I don't know, it's been 10 years or not. It's real close. But doing that guest bartending event that we did there, that I put together with it's like, let me get the dignitaries, so we get all the people, and
all right. So that came from us doing it at the El Cajon one.
Yeah.
The El Cajon VFW, which the Books of Family has been a part of for 30 years now.
Yeah. God bless Jimmy.
Yep. They kept that place going for that many years.
Mm-hmm.
They would do that once a year. And it was the Bartender Appreciation Day. So the idea behind it was because bartenders they're all volunteers.
Right.
So the only way they get paid is if they're there working.
Yep.
And they get tips. So there's one day out of the year that all the bartenders get to sit and drink for free, and other people come in different shifts, and we bartend for them, and then all the money all the tips we make go back to them.
Exactly.
And idea is that we're going to bring in people that wouldn't normally be there.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You're bringing in a different crowd, and so that was the whole premise behind it. And then Dustin said, "Well, why? Okay, well, it's been successful in El Cajon for a long time. Let's try it in Santee. Let's do it."
Yeah.
And we knocked it out of the park.
Knocked it out of the park. I remember that day. I don't know what day it was.
That day was bragging rights. Then it was like, okay, who made the most money?
Exactly. We brought in $7,000 that day.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
In one day.
In one day.
But it was pretty much the entire day.
Yeah. Because
but our shift brought in the most. And Brian Jones, you helped.
Yeah,
Brian, you helped us out. It was three of us.
A lot of people. There was a lot. We had a lot of guest bartenders. A lot of.
In our shift.
Yeah. Gotcha. So we did. I think if I remember right, it was. I think we had 3 people or 4 people in each shift. Three, and there was an hour. So every hour we'd rotate people through, and like I said, try to push it through. And then I remember, subsequently, it was like, okay, great, that was a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser. That's all it was.
Yeah.
It was a straight fundraiser. Yeah. Then they next year, we'll get to some other stuff, but next year they're like, can we do it again? I said, no, it was not supposed to be an annual event. It was supposed to just be a fundraiser. That was it, right? It's like, no, we're not going to do it again. But then we ended up doing it again when COVID hit. When COVID hit, it really changed the things a lot more. The whole here in Santee and everybody, I would imagine, really struggled because they couldn't get the people in the doors, right? So everybody needs everybody walking through the door, subsequently buying the beers and the drinks that are very inexpensive, relative to going to a bar or a restaurant, something like that.
Because it's a club, it's a private club.
Exactly.
You get away with that.
Exactly. But, we can go on and on all the things we've done at the VFW Hall, and we'll talk a little more about it. But let's talk about the other stuff we've done in this community, because I don't know if people really know and understand. And I'm not trying to brag, but I'm trying to point out, Mike. So let's talk about the Veterans
Memorial.
Let's talk about the Veterans Memorial in Santee.
And the Veterans Bridge.
You know,
The Veterans Memorial, the Veterans Bridge, which is on the corner of Mast and, well, the bridge is obviously over the Santee Lakes.
Yep.
The Veteran Memorial is on the corner of Mast and
Near
Parkway.
Parkway.
And it's an amazing tribute to all of our veterans. You were involved with building it.
It was your idea. It was his idea.
It was my
his
idea.
baby.
So
It absolutely was.
Rob, do you remember that when that idea came out, when I presented it to
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah.
That was in 2016. In 2016,
It's been that long? Wow.
well,
The idea.
Oh,
the
yeah.
idea.
The idea.
Yeah. So I presented this in 2016 when we when there was a vacancy on our city council. When Mayor John Minto became mayor, we ended up having a vacancy, and we had to fulfill that vacancy. And
Brian.
Brian ended up getting. So here we go, Joe. Thank you. So
Oh, there you go.
that night, I think there was 36 candidates or something, and we whittled it. The council at that time whittled it down to 2 candidates. It was Brian Jones and myself at the very end there. I think it was freaking 2 a.m. or
It
something.
was
It
literally
like
like
2 a.m.
really late.
I remember that night. Yeah, it was long.
And I remember that night, I said that night. They said, you know, if you get elected, you know, what are you going to do, you know, kind of thing, or what do you want to do, you know. And I brought that out that night, because I already had this vision, Mike. And I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And everybody's, oh, where are you going to put it, you know. I say, well, at that time, I said, I think either on Mission Gorge or Mass Boulevard. I mean, that's the thoroughfares into Santee. And, you know, I didn't know exactly what it was going to look like, but I had a vision to do it, man.
It turned out wonderful.
And so in 2020, when I got elected, what was the first thing I did, Rob?
Went right
I
back to
went
it.
right after it. I went, I figured it out, I
So-
got it done.
One of the funniest things though was later on when it actually was built.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Brian Jones going,
I told the story yesterday at
Did you?
lunch.
Yeah.
Yesterday at lunch. Yep.
Yeah,
Go
he
ahead.
said, I am so pissed off
At me.
at
He
you.
walks up to me and says he's mad. Brian Jones says he's mad at me. I said, oh yeah, Brian, what are you mad at?
Did you have the idea?
He goes, that I didn't think of it first. Is that such a brilliant idea? And why didn't I said the same thing. I'm like, you know what? That was.
Do you remember what I told Brian? I said, Brian, here's the difference though, is that you couldn't execute the idea.
True.
That's exactly what I told him right there. I said, here's the difference. You might have had, but you could not have executed this.
We got it done. It turned out great. And we just did
But it did. But even more so, it was done with private funds. It wasn't done with
100%
city
private
tax.
funds.
There was no tax money being
No,
used on it. It
We
was
got a
all,
big check.
Yeah.
we all wrote checks.
We all wrote checks.
We all wrote checks.
We had three donors that were the largest donors, myself and 2 other individuals, and then everybody contributed, and we were all privately funded.
Yeah.
And then I built the thing myself.
Yep.
My own hands, you know.
I remember we had to.
And got the land donated.
Got
We
the
all
land,
signed
well,
really-
it's city property ultimately, so it's not really donated. It's just.
But it was a remnant piece that couldn't. There was
Yeah.
nothing you could do with it.
It's a traffic signal corner. It's a corner of a
Yeah.
prop that there's nothing to do with it, like I said. But we did some significant things when we built that there, though, because the memorial itself has significance to it. 11 foot tall, 11 foot wide. 11, has to do Armistice Day and November 11th from Congress. But when we were building it, we did a beam signing, at the memorial that day, and we had veterans come out. And I remember one of them was Joe Riley. Do you remember Joe Riley? So Joe has a banner up over on just on the other side of the bridge there, on mast. And he was a World War II veteran. He was the oldest one we had here in Santee. And he was there in his wheelchair, and he signed that beam that day, along with a lot of other people.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike, I remember you signed that beam that day, and you did something significant for yourself.
My submarine dolphins, we pounded them into one of the beams.
Yeah. So all 4 of the beams in that structure, Joe, if you want to show that again, so everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about with that structure. So that 4-sided structure has 4 beams that go around the top of it that sit on the top of those posts. So right where it says because of the Brave, that beam.
Rebecca was just saying that same thing. She loved how everybody's able to write the name.
All 4 of them. Yeah. So if we peel back that onion, as we say, all those signatures are underneath there. People, went there and put something that was significant to them, right?
Yeah.
Their family member, and Mike did it for himself.
I remember we had a big. We shut the street down and had a big.
Oh, that was a ceremony. That was a big deal too.
Yeah,
But inside the middle of that right there, so the structure itself, home of the free because of the braid that wraps around there. But that center right there, that 6-sided cylindrical center, has all 6 branches of the military on there. And this was, we ended up finding out, it is the first military, what do you call it, memorial, I guess you would call it, that has Space Force on it, that was built in the United States. And then that reef that's on the top was built by a custom company in here. But inside of that, there's actually a box that people donated stuff and have cards of
like
memorabilia.
Kind
of like a time capsule, but it was never meant to be opened.
Yeah.
It was more about encapsulating inside of there. I have the photos and the pictures of what went inside of there.
Well, that's great.
I have a flag in there from my mom's uncle from World War II, I think it was, that's actually inside of there.
Oh, wow.
That was what I contributed to it. People put cards and pictures of their family members and all kinds of things, and it's protected in a box that is waterproof and sealed and all that. So if it ever does get opened,
hopefully it doesn't.
Out of my time,
the memorial,
things get demolished.
Yeah,
at that
hopefully
point,
it never does.
it's there, but it has so much meaning to so many, not only me, that we did this, and it's so much for this community. And over at, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but over at Grocery Outlet, they have a big mural in Grocery Outlet inside there. Okay, it says Santee, City of Santee, whatever, and it has 3 pictures on there. One is Santee Lakes, one is the barn over here, the historical barn, and one is that
Memorial.
Inside the store?
Inside there, yeah. And that was their way of what they thought what represented Santee were those 3 iconic things. And Santee Lakes, I mean, I always, even though it's not city property, I do believe Santee Lakes is an iconic part of Santee.
Oh, yeah.
It is the fundamental, recreational area that we have. Obviously, our parks, but it's always been something that has been identified with Santee.
Absolutely.
An historical barn, the dairy barn there. It was, it's been there. I don't know how long at this point, but
they need to get some maintenance on that building.
the county owns it still. It's a county building and kind of stuff. And then subsequently, there's a whole lot of history with that memorial there. But then the following year, and Veterans Day is when we unveiled it, so it's coming up obviously later this year. We'll have the anniversary, so to say. The following year, though, we started the Hometown Hero banner program here in Santee. So on the bridge there, we have 12 banners from 12 veterans, and you'll see, every 4 months we rotate this off. And my original vision was to go from like the top of Mass Boulevard, kind of where West Hills High School was, where Western Road is, down to like Carlton Hills. And it was kind of like that. You drive into town off the 52, and you drive down the hill, and you see these banners, and then all of a sudden you come across the bridge, and you kind of feel that patriotism we have here, right? Well, the damn banners go all the way to the city of San Diego, and they're going all the way down Cuyamaca, past Cuyamaca now, and we are going to hit. There you go, Joe. Thank you. We're going to hit Magnolia here pretty soon.
That's as it should be.
And that's really because of a couple things. Our great team at the city that's worked on this, but we are not having a problem filling these 12 slots.
No.
When we out the gate, we had a little bit, we filled them quick. Thanks, Michael. So we had a little bit of problem, like I think on the 2nd or the 3rd cycle after the first cycle to get them filled.
Getting the word out.
Yeah, and so at that time I had put in funds. I put in, I think, $5,000 or something into a fund, so that way we never had a veteran that wasn't paid for. In case somebody couldn't pay for it, there was always money sitting in there to do so. But I think after the 2nd year, dude, like we have not had a problem filling those 12 slots 3 times a year.
Yeah.
That's 36 veterans that are going on that bridge and subsequently Mass Boulevard.
And by the way, these are Santee veterans.
Yes, Santee veterans.
These are people that live in Santee.
Yeah, they obviously could be deceased. They can be be alive. They can be whatever.
Santee,
but but they're all Santee veterans.
Yeah, I'm working with a couple friends of mine to help them get their father's pictures up there about to see. One was World War II. One was a World War II. Barney Hinkle's father. Yeah. And he has all of his letters like written from World War II. I think they actually made a book out of these letters that he wrote. Maybe even from a prison camp.
Oh my!
Yeah, I think there's some more story to it.
So my grandfather came here from Oklahoma also. My mom's dad came from Oklahoma. That's how he came out here, and it was the Marine Corps that brought him out here. He was actually stationed at Camp Elliott.
Oh yeah.
Right behind Santee here, right behind
Right,
Miramar,
right.
basically. And he was stationed at Camp Elliott. And my grandpa used to, back in the day, he used to mow the lawn at KCBQ. That was one of the jobs he had. Many a jobs he had after he was out of the military and stuff like that. But it is. I think it all connects somehow, right? All of our lives and being here, and this is why I feel so prideful in the things that we've done, for the military that we have here and the generation that we're in today, right?
Well, as a veteran, and speaking for a lot of veterans, I mean, we greatly appreciate what you guys do. Because they're not doing it as council people; they're doing it as citizens. And
absolutely.
It's their own time and money, and
All the
it's
above.
monthly and all that stuff too. But Pam White showed up at one of our. She always had good statistics and paper. And she said that the city has a dog. It's like 1 in 10 adults in Santee is a veteran or active duty. So that's pretty amazing.
Then again, you add to that law enforcement, retired law enforcement, firefighters, retired firefighters. You add all of that together, it's even more significant.
What's up, KP? Oh, Scott, hey, how you doing, bud? You say Oklahoma? Absolutely. That's where my grandfather came from.
Aikman in the house.
Yeah.
Can't read.
That's KP.
Christine
Costa.
Costa.
Christine Costa. Yep.
Up in Idaho.
Yep.
She
Just bought a house. Congratulations
house.
on that.
Still working for WM. Making that good WM money, apparently.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good for her.
That's it.
That is fantastic.
Talk trash, girl.
She is the best trash talker
Yep.
you will ever know.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
My favorite trash talker.
All right. So moving forward, you've kind of joined the ranks here with what you're doing to help again fund projects and programs for veterans here in Santee and around Santee.
Well, that's fun.
Because
it means well.
You know what the other thing is, we talk about the Santee VFW, but the Santee VFW doesn't kick out somebody that's not from Santee.
Oh no.
It's a place for veterans to come together and feel a joint camaraderie, and so they will find a hall that means something to them. Some people go to the one in Barrio Logan, some want to go to Lakeside or Alpine, and there are halls, El Cajon. And they do it for a reason. Some have just been doing it for years and years and years, and so this is just where we go.
Right.
Like El Cajon. That's
right.
I mean, it's been the same spot for so many years. It's just kind of where they know to go.
After World War II, I think the government got involved in building a lot of those ones. Like the Lakeside one has the hall next to it, and El Cajon does too. But Santee, we weren't the city then.
Right.
A lot of the older ones they all look very similar.
Right.
No, the government didn't help with the one in El Cajon.
Oh, really?
No, that one was the building that they found, and
All right.
somebody helped finance and still finances to this day.
Oh, good.
That'd be
Just
Jimmy. What's up?
Tell your wife and son hi, man. I miss you guys too. I hope OKC is doing you well out there.
I hope
Miss
the
you
weather
big time.
is not too sticky right now.
You're probably right for leaving. When you did, because politics in San Diego keeps going in the wrong direction.
Could be worse. Could be New York.
It could be worse.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
So, but these are the passions that we have. These are the things that we carry along with us, and we're always looking for ways to better and do more for whatever it is. And for you out there watching, whatever your passion is, just find it and do something with it. Because we're elected, we get more opportunities, I guess, to help. Just because we find out about more things, so we have maybe more opportunities.
Yeah.
But some of it is, we come up with stuff on our own. We see a need.
Right.
I mean, that's why I say we have more opportunities. We see maybe more need than others would.
Yeah.
If you're just, Joe Blow, going to work, coming home, dealing with life at home, getting up, going to work, coming home, doing life at home, and it's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
That's your life kind of stays in that bubble. But when you're in our world, whether good or bad, you see a lot of need, and there are times where we can help, and there are times where we can't.
So, I mean, last week was a perfect example, right? So last week we had John Hosick in here last week, and we talked about, the SMOAC backpack drive. What I'm trying to think.
What it used to be.
Yeah, the backpack school.
Buddy's
something.
backpack.
School
Well,
supply.
It didn't become Buddy's backpack till I renamed it.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
See, a little history, right? So there we go. Bundy Backpack School Supply Drive now, but it used to be the SMOAC.
We have a box across.
Santee
Yeah.
Mobile Homeowners Action Committee,
Yeah.
School Supply Backpack
Drive.
Drive. Yeah. It was a long.
It didn't roll
whatever.
off the tongue very well.
But talk about a need, right? So we talked about that in 2015. When I said, hey, you know what, I see a need, in these mobile home parks, that the family parks. Let's go figure something out. Let's try it. Let's do something, right? And we did. So, Mike, speaking about that, I wanted to bring. So, do you remember when you first met Rob and I, roughly?
Oh, well, it was a little different when we met.
I didn't like him at first.
Well, let's be honest, right? So.
I don't remember when that was.
Well, it was roughly, I would say, it's in that 2015 range.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, because at that time,
26,
at that time we had
She's an acquired taste. You gotta.
Well, let's tell everybody why it's acquired taste, right? So, this year we have another election coming up, right? So Rob's up for re-election here in the city of Santee again for his council seat. But in 2016, Rob and John Minto ran for mayor against each other. And do you remember that at that time you had a strong opinion about the mayorship race, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are very good friends with John Minto.
Yes.
You
Still are.
still are, yeah. It doesn't change you. But I'm saying you have a lot of history there, from the police department, things like that. And like I said, Rob's an acquired taste, right? So, I'm not talking about 10 years ago. I'm talking about today. What changed? Why did you?
I got to know him.
Yeah, I guess that's what I want to say. Tell everybody what you got to know and what your opinion today.
I got to know him as somebody that really cares about Santee, and and what I like about Rob is he doesn't change his position. I mean, well, he will change it if he's shown facts and can, but he's not a go where the wind kind of takes you politician. He believes in his position, and he's not afraid to tell people about it, even if it's not popular. And I like that. Yeah. So.
It's not popular with a lot of people.
No,
People don't like
it's
being
really
told the
isn't,
truth.
No.
It really isn't. And I get it. But I also get it. I understand that, all right, we're going to disagree on this issue, and I can't tell you how many times, like especially knocking doors and stuff like that, and people are, well, I'm mad about this. I'm like, oh, this is where you're really going to hate me because I got to tell them the truth.
Well,
but I don't back down from it. I don't cower from it, and I think being honest with somebody about the why. You can't just say, well, I disagree and walk away.
You gotta explain to them.
I give them the why, and
Right.
you still may disagree, and I'm totally fine with that. Opinions are for a reason. We all have differences in life structure and how we grew up, and that forms who we are and how we're shaped. So I am 100% okay with people disagreeing with an opinion that I have,
Right.
but everything I do, especially as an elected official, is for the benefit of the city as a whole, as I view it. It's not about what's good for the city today. It's about what's going to be good for the city long term, and that was one of the biggest things I think we're starting to change now. We're getting back to having people look long term.
Forward thinking.
Not just 2
planning,
years
long-range
until I get
planning.
reelected again, or
Right.
4 years till I get reelected again, but stop with that crap.
Right.
It's not about getting reelected again. It's about doing what you feel is right for the community.
Yeah.
And if you get reelected again, well then guess what? That was awesome. But you don't say things just to get reelected again.
Right.
You don't do things just to get reelected again. You do things because you think it's the best thing for the community. And if the community doesn't agree with that, okay, we don't end up getting reelected again. But
Right.
at least you stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah.
You've got your own, your position, and you can defend that.
And you're good at defending it too. You're good at.
Hey KP, WM hasn't done a sponsorship yet. You can double down if they have. That you can get 2.
Yeah, for the veteran tournament, yeah. They always do a good job with us. For the veteran tournament.
teasing.
What was that?
Blah blah venture, clean up Walker trail fences and trim.
No, we agree with that.
Yeah,
Well,
We 100% agree with that.
Yeah, 100%
Absolutely.
agree with that.
So the issue with Walker Trail, all that stuff, it's all going under. We talked about this a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
So
They're digging it up. aren't
they're
they?
digging it all up. So
The county is.
the county,
County's digging
not
it
the city of Santee, the county is digging that up. So they're going to be tearing a lot of that out and up. So there's no use of fixing it right now when they're going to be tearing it all up. So
until all the work's done.
until the work is done. So you fix it up and then they just destroy it
Very
again.
similar to Mass Boulevard.
Very,
So,
yeah.
so if everybody see what's happening at Mass Boulevard right now, it's a very similar situation that's going on with Walker Trail. the AWP project for the last 2 years have torn Mass Boulevard up, all the way from Santee Lakes across all the, it's a city limits basically along Mass Boulevard. Well, the street's been dug up a couple different times, been tore up, blah, traffic control, blah, blah, blah.
When they repaired it,
yeah.
they didn't repair it right. So we went back out and said, you got to do it again.
So we finally got that done. And what you see happening right now this summer here in the city is we are repaving all of Mass Boulevard. Took out the trees in there that were damaging the roads. We're fixing the roads now that that work is completed, curb to curb, that whole entire lake from basically from Canberry all the way to Grand Teton. So if everybody knows where those streets are, that whole section is getting paved, and then over off of the other side, basically at Santee Lakes.
All the way over,
so at Finito Parkway to Carlton Hills, Mass is getting done curb to curb right there too. So the issue we have with a lot of municipalities, the SDG&E just went down Magnolia and tore up Magnolia, put in all new infrastructure in, put in all new electrical lines and conduits and stuff. And these work have to be completed before we can go fix the things, or there's no reason to go put city money into it until it's done to fix the issues that are currently arising.
I think it'd be fiscally irresponsible to go fix it ahead of
very
time.
much so.
And I know in my travels around town, and we were talking about this before we went live, is some of the people I know, they're all complaining about blaming you guys, the city council, for the road conditions on Mass Boulevard being one of them, but they don't know the backstory. So I would encourage everybody. The city of Santee does an excellent job of being transparent, and it's the information is out there. All the city meetings are all online. I watch them all online.
Okay, so anybody that knows you knows what you're saying is spot on, because you were one of the people that didn't believe it.
Yeah.
You didn't believe what I was saying.
Kind of the point where I went back to.
Yeah, you didn't believe what I was saying. You thought, we were trying to tear down the golf course and put up all those housing, and you found out later, no, everything I said was exactly the way it was. But you were given information that was not accurate, and it's a whole lot easier to say, oh, well, they were doing it.
Yeah.
And to believe that than it is to do the work. But you finally did the work, and you found out, oh, you know what?
And I told you were right.
And you did.
apologize.
You did.
No, and that's okay. But
I'm saying that because people don't understand. They just think if I see it online, it must be true.
Yeah, don't get your information from TikTok and Facebook. But all of the city council meetings are online. I mean, I used to
Which
go
is something else that I pushed for
Yep.
day one.
I used to go sit up there in a couple of chairs. Now you can watch it on YouTube and kind of scan through and listen to what you want. If you miss something, you can rewind it, and it's really easy to get the facts, and also you can
But it really is. You're right. It really is easy to get the facts by watching them. You can watch them online, and you can see exactly what one of us will say up there on the dais versus what they say in the street.
Yep.
And if they don't match up, you understand who's a politician and who's at least going to be honest with you no matter what. That's the reality of it.
Right.
And that's the whole reason I wanted them online, is because I was tired of people being able to say one thing up there and then something entirely different in the streets. It's just not fair, and it's not accurate, and the community should know. It's not the council's city. The council represents the people of the city
Absolutely.
up there to make decisions.
Sure.
So it's
and every one of the council is very approachable and reachable, and we'll if you got a question in your district, just reach out to your councilman.
Santee's a small city overall, right? So 60,000 residents, and there's other cities that are smaller. There's other cities that are equal, and some that are a little bit bigger. There's 18 cities in the county of San Diego, and I can tell you unequivocally, there's only a handful, and I'm talking about less than 5 when I say handful, that what I consider approachable in this county. Majority of your council of the council members are not approachable. They won't even talk to you. Like
you got to go through staff.
You got to go
through
staff.
staff.
Go through staff.
We have no staff.
You got to go through.
We are the staff.
You gotta go through emails. You gotta go through something to cross every one of those hurdles and barriers, even to get a hello, let alone a coffee.
Right.
It's really, honestly, that's the truth. And so like Rob says, we'll be here at the concerts here this afternoon, and we're out in the community all the time. Come by and say hi, do all that good stuff. We're extremely approachable. Like I said, you may not hear what you want, you may not like what we have to say, but this is the reality of the world we live in. And the bureaucracy, I tell all my friends, you probably heard me say this many times, I bang my head against the wall inside City Hall almost every day when I walk in there, because the bureaucracy, not just our city, but it really comes from the governing of the state mostly,
And our county.
and the county. That the county and the state govern so much stuff that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis within the halls and the walls of City Hall, that it's frustrating that we can't do what we want to do, so to say, right?
Yeah.
Or what we think should be done sometimes.
How we think it
Right.
should be done, which is way more efficient.
Or in a timely fashion, or
Yeah.
whatever that scenario looks like, you know?
Government doesn't.
It's
Government works at a different pace than
it really does. It's unbelievable.
It is crazy. I say it all the time that minutes turn into hours, hours turn into days, days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into months like that.
Yeah.
And if we're not managing the minutes,
Yeah.
we're losing weeks and months.
Right.
If we're not managing the minutes, and
Because
so
everything in government
responses-
takes months and years.
Yeah. Another good thing that you guys, you may have had something to do with was the city app.
Yeah.
By Santee TV and the app is so useful. If you see a pothole, or if you see a tree down, or a tree that's blocking a view of a sign, literally I just take a picture of it, and within seconds you do it on the app, and then all of a sudden you notice the next week it's fixed. So it's a great way of getting the information to the people that can fix the problem.
I had yesterday a constituent reach out to me, sent me a text message yesterday morning. What was that, about 9:30? Because you got copied on it, and about a sewer clean out that was protruding through the street
Oh,
in front of
on the street,
Yeah.
in the cul-de-sac or
in
whatever.
cul-de-sac, and
Yeah.
it was getting dangerous.
Yeah.
And so he was like, "Hey, can you help out?" Within 30 minutes, I had someone from Public Works there
Staff
taking care
there
of it,
was
and they
using
covered it all up.
using coal patch and
Yeah.
asphalt to kind of
it was actually it's a Padre Dam issue, but
Yeah.
our staff
Yeah.
still got out there to make sure that
Yeah.
everybody is safe, and then contacted Padre. Padre will get out there and put a real fix on it, but it was
Fix it for safety.
exactly,
Yeah, exactly.
and that's what we do. That's actually the primary thing: fixing potholes, making sure street lights are on, and making sure somebody shows up with the right tools when you call 911. Say it all the time. Now, before we get done with this, because it's already been an hour, and I told you to go fast, right?
Yeah.
But
It's all
before we're done,
conversation.
there's one more thing that people don't know about you that
Uh-oh.
I freaking love.
Okay.
Mike has got probably one of, if not the largest, beer can collections.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen
I
that.
have.
I've seen that personally too.
So tell us what made you start doing this.
So
It
growing
says
up,
beer can collections. And wait, and I don't know if I asked, how many of them still have beer in them?
I think only one or two. Of
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mike, are these 12-ounce cans
All-
or the whole
all of it.
bottle? Or
Not
No bottles.
Well,
no, I guess. Yeah.
So in the early '70s, growing up in Missouri, people collected beer cans or soda cans. My brother had a soda can collection. I had a beer can collection. And we
Who's older?
Me.
Okay. I was making sure. I thought it was funny if it was the other way around.
But it was like collecting baseball cards or whatever. So anyhow, I collected them, and I had a cool picture from like 1976 of me in my basement next to a small stack of them that I have in my garage now. But I kept them boxed up, and they survived all through my time in the Navy, and so now I've got thousands of them.
Yeah.
But mainly now I only collect ones that are from 1960s and below, earlier. I've got a 1938 or 37 Pabst Blue Ribbon can. That's pretty cool. They're all made with different materials back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got some Budweisers from the 40s and pre-World War II ones.
Mm.
I'm looking. So during World War II, some of the breweries made beer for the military guys, and they're all these olive green cans. And they're like the holy grail of beer cans.
Oh, I didn't know
They're
that.
worth thousands of dollars.
Wow. Okay.
And so I'm always when I'm on eBay looking for beer cans.
That's the
To
one.
get one with good shape, it's like looking for a rookie Ty Cobb card or something.
Right.
But yeah,
So they're still in the garage,
still in the garage.
like floor to ceiling, all the way around, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife.
You have shelves and everything for it.
Yeah,
and
my buddy
display shelves.
came and built nice display shelves for them. Yeah.
How many cans do you think you have?
Gosh, a couple years ago, I got rid of. I had so many duplicates. I gave a starter set to our buddy Scott Barrett. I gave him a starter set.
Starter set.
And then I donated
Did
some.
you trade it for lumpia at least?
No.
Oh
my God,
his wife makes the
good.
best lumpia. He swears it's him, but I don't believe it.
I don't believe
I
it.
think it's all her.
He got the recipe.
Yeah.
She showed him how to do it.
Scott, if you're watching, I don't believe it, buddy.
Yeah.
But
But I'll still eat it.
I'm trying to think what we were saying about the.
How many beer cans you got?
Oh, probably a couple thousand.
Couple thousand.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's funny because people travel all around and they'll send me pictures from thrift stop. You need this one? No, I've got that one. Most of them I have. There's not that. No.
Yeah.
But it's neat.
Couple thousand is a lot.
It really is. It really is.
Well, the old ones. I mean, I don't collect the new stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have room.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But when they went from the original, you'd open them with the
Yeah.
can opener. I got a bunch of those, and then I've got the
Full tabs.
full tabs, and then the very early one said no opener needed on there. On the advertising where you first went. Remember that you pull it off and it was a ring you put your feet on.
Yeah.
People made jewelry out of the pull tabs.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I remember that. I am that old.
I've got
Dustin has no idea what we're
I
talking
know.
about.
All my beer cans always had a pop top, whatever you call them. I don't know what you
Yeah.
call them. It's
No,
Yeah.
they're pull tabs. They had the little ring on them. There, people got married with those rings.
funny.
True stories. True stories.
Yep.
Are the ones at Dino's Pub yours?
Oh, I gave Dino a starter set too. Yeah, those are
Okay.
mine. Yes.
Good call. Good call, Joe. Is there, all right, Joe. Before we leave, is there anything we missed? All caught up for now. All right.
Okay, send us off, Rob.
All right. Well, Mike, thank
Thanks
you so
for
very
having
much for
me.
being here,
having me,
brother.
guys.
Thanks for doing
having
this.
me.
Thank you for all you do for the veteran community. We really
Thanks.
appreciate it, and
Right
the
back
Chamber
at
of
you.
Commerce
Right back at you.
and the city as a whole. We really do appreciate it. If you're over at Carlton Oaks and playing golf, you'll probably see this guy out there. He's an amazing golfer as well. He's actually a really good coach. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it, but he's actually a really good golf coach as well. So ask him for a few tips. He loves doing that.
Eh,
It may cost you a beer, but he loves doing it.
bring him a vintage beer can.
Yeah.
So until next week, and we do know who's going to be here next week. You're going to want to tune in. We're talking about the Santee School District
Yep.
and you know how the relationship between the city of Santee and the school district and what they've done with dealing with the state concerns as well.
Yep.
So that'll be next week. So be here for that, please. And until then, get out to the concert tonight. And I guess we'll catch you then. But God bless you. God bless America. And God bless Santee. And don't forget an extra special blessing for our heroes out there fighting for us and defending our right for freedom. Thank you, guys.
Good night,
Catch you next
everybody.
time.